Moi everyone and welcome to Finish Your Plate. It's midwinter, so this is the best time for soups and stews. I'm gonna be making a Finnish classic dish called Karelian hot pot. This is a very rustic, very simple dish that's easy to make. It just takes a long time. So what I have here is an assortment of different kinds of meats that I'm gonna use. We'll go through them, but before that we'll just look at the other stuff that I have here. I have a couple big carrots, a huge onion, some black pepper, allspice of course, and bay leaves. So for the meat, what I have here some lamb with bones. I have here some beef ribs, again with bones. And then I have here some beautiful Hudson Valley pork. This is the fatty end of the loin. We want that fat in there because this dish is going to cook for a long time. And also what I have here is some beef chuck. Again, a fatty cut of meat, tough, but this dish is going to cook for a very long time. So I'm gonna prep all of this. I'm gonna cut the meat in very big chunks. I'm going to do the same with the carrots, leave them very big, and the onion as well. So I'm just gonna quickly prep these. I'm gonna cut these into pieces and then I'll be right back. Okay, so basically I just cut the meat in big chunks. I pretty much just halved the carrots and I quartered the onion. Remember, all of this is going to cook for a long time in the oven. Now, lamb is not necessarily found that often in a Karelian hot pot. You could certainly use only beef or a mixture of beef and pork, which I think is probably the most common. But adding that lamb will give it a little bit more festive feel. It's definitely not something you would eat on a weekday, but that would be like a event kind of a dish, something you're celebrating for something, so you're making this dish. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is I am just going to put all of these ingredients in a pot. However, the important thing is to leave meat on the top. So, because I'm not browning the meat, I'm just going to put everything in there. The browning is going to happen in the oven as it cooks. So we want to make sure that some of the meat is going to be on the top, facing upwards. Alright, so our pot is filled. I'm just going to add some black peppercorns. Of course, allspice. And a very liberal amount of salt, since I did not add salt before. And last, we're going to cover it with water. All right, so this is now ready to go in the oven. I'm gonna cover it with a heavy lid, and this will go in the oven. What you want to do is you want to keep the temperature at about 210 degrees maybe for, it's going to take about 6 to 8 hours to cook. You could hurry it up a little bit if you raise the temperature to say 250, maybe even 300. It'll take considerably less time. It'll still be great, but it's really going to be good if you let it cook really slow, 210, 220 degrees for about 8 hours. All right, so this is going in the oven, and I'll see you when it's done. So the hot pot has been in the oven for about 8 hours now. Let's take a look at how it looks. Oh, that's perfect. So depending on your pot, you may want to check up on it, make sure it doesn't dry out too much. Looks like mine lost actually a little bit of water during the cooking, so I might actually add a little bit more water to it. But as far as the consistency goes, otherwise you can see that this has nice caramelization in here, which is great. So now what we want to do is taste the salt before serving it. We're just gonna go I think it could use a touch more salt. So since it could use a little bit more salt, I'm just going to sprinkle it on. Not a whole lot. There we go. As a side, I made some mashed potatoes. These are just plain mashed potatoes. Just going to give a generous serving like that. And then I'm going to spoon some of this over. Maybe put a piece of parsley on top. And a couple pickles. And here we go, Finnish Karelian hot pot, Karjalanpaisti. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on Finish Your Plate.